This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, boy, if there is one thing that this game reminded me of Square Enix, people sure do suck. Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week is one half of the Shoutout Bros.
What is up? It's Willie. Great to be back with you.
Welcome back, my good sir. Okay, before we go any further, before I even ask you how you're doing.
Oh, you want to know right now? I love you forever.
Oh, of course. What was that?
I'll never leave you. I'll make you so happy for the rest of your life. I'll take you away and make me a wife.
Immediately makes me think of Team America World Police. Which, if you told me you love me forever, I would have sex with you right now. And he grabs her by the shoulders. I will love you forever. And then they do that.
I was just doing fucking Meatloaf, whatever.
Big long puppet sex scene.
Oh, that's right. Man, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I completely forgot about that.
The fact that the uncensored version, one of the fucking puppets takes a shit on the other one is just it's so ridiculous. Like, they went so overboard with that movie.
So we were here with a normal episode of a normal podcast for normal people.
Oh, man. Last episode, we got a couple questions about the Turing test and totally forgot.
That's right.
About
Thank you for bringing that up. I was going to remind you of that earlier, and then guess what? I forgot again.
So let's see. We did have a few questions about the game. Let me find them.
Absolutely. God, thank you for being a responsible host. I appreciate the hell out of that.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. All right. This one comes in from Jack of Ziggy Moons, old Kana. Ruin a video game by replacing the last word in its name with balls. The Legend of Balls.
Now, what game was that?
Trails in the Balls.
Wrong. It was Legend of Dragoon. You didn't even know it.
Final Balls.
Final Balls? Get the hell out of it. What is this?
Mortal Balls.
Oh, fucking...
Octopath Balls.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Nobody knows, but it's provocative. Duke Nukem 3 balls.
There you go. I've got balls of steel.
Kerbal Spaceballs.
Kerbal Spaceball. Hey, now, Spaceballs, but in Kerbal.
It's a great movie.
I'd take it. Oh, man. Let's see. Bug Balls.
Bug Balls. Kind of bugs and kind of balls.
Black Myth Balls. Metaphor Balls.
American Truck Balls.
Hogwarts Balls.
Elden Balls. You know when you went to YMCA.
No Man's Balls.
No Man's Balls. Ooh, that's good.
Neptunia Virtual Balls. Balls of Exile. Oh, God. That's so fucking dumb.
Turnip Boy robs a balls.
Stein's Balls.
Battle Balls God. Theater. I know it's not the last word, but come on. Blazing Balls.
Pierre Solar and the Great Balls.
Destroy all balls! Destroy all balls!
Destroy all balls.
I'm very happy with that one. That one might be I might be going out on that one.
You, me, and her, I love balls. That's such a dumb question, but it's so fun.
This shouldn't be making me laugh as much, but I'm just over here like, Oregon the blind balls.
Yeah, right, yeah. Jet Set Balls.
Jet Set Balls.
Retromania Balls. It's so good.
Shovel Knight Treasure Balls. Surviving Balls.
Okay.
Ultimate
the next one.
Chicken Balls. This is too fun. We got to stop ourselves. We got to pull up.
The next one comes in from Adam. If you could add your own test to the Turing test, what would you add?
It's a classic test. It doesn't necessarily prove that you're a human, but it might prove that you're a cartoon. and that is that something beyond the other side of the door should knock shave and a haircut. And if you knock back, dunk, dunk, then you pass.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Shave
Thank
and a
you.
haircut, 2 bits.
Fuck, what was that movie? Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I think mine would just be a question. How would you emotionally react to blank? So it would be like, what would your emotional reaction be to your girlfriend leaving you for another man? Or like your wife cheating on you, your mother dying? And if it gives too calculated of a response to that, like there's a certain level of humanity that comes with emotion that computers can't feel.
I like that all your problems involved women in your life betraying you. Nice, dude.
Yeah, man.
You want to talk about something?
If that gives you a peek into my fucking life. But yeah, something along those lines, you know? Like, you got locked into Uncle Touchy's puzzle basement.
He prefers to be called Jigsaw.
How do you process that? Like something that a computer would just be too calculated about. I feel like that would give it away.
I like that. It has kind of a Star Trek-ish vibe to it somehow, you know?
Yeah. So Adam has the next question. Favorite evil robot in gaming?
Now, I'm pretty sure that he put Shodan in the image, right? Did he put, pasted the image of Shodan?
There is no image, I don't think, but I believe Shodan came up in a conversation about that.
Okay. Because it feels like that's like one of the titans in the room for sure.
No, absolutely. I'm trying to think of the...
I feel like if I can't take Shodan because it was actually mentioned, she was already mentioned in the chat, I think the most other obvious one, even though this character is not originally from a game, he's from a short story. But the short story author was so involved in the game's development, he voiced this character. And that's Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Yeah.
And I like that you started nodding before I even finished that sentence because you knew where I was going.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't played that or read that, but I've heard a lot about it, and yeah.
It's one of the bleakest stories I've ever read, not gonna lie. Like, that was one of the most upsetting things I've ever read in my life.
Evil robot. Why? I don't know why I'm having such a fucking hard time with this. Because the Metal Gear... I mean,
GLaDOS is another obvious top-tier pick.
I was thinking of GLaDOS, but I was thinking of Portal 2's...
Wheatley.
Wheatley. Yeah, that's probably my answer.
Wheatley is good because he's just... Wheatley's such a broken, fucked up little goblin.
Yeah, he's a bastard.
Yeah, total bastard.
He is total bastard. All right, this one comes in from Jeff. The world is ending. You can play one last song.
Boy, my answer is going to surprise everyone because I actually have a song that I think would be the best song to end the world to. And it's not even, like, by a band I like very much. How Far We've Come by Matchbox 20.
By who?
Matchbox 20.
Oh, okay.
Like, the lyrics literally begin on, waking up at the start of the end of the world. And I don't know. I've always felt that would be a good one.
Okay. I know
say goodbye if you have someone you can say goodbye to.
I know Kana posted it, the one, REM, it's the end of the world as we know it.
That also very on the nose, but very appropriate. I love that song.
I think it depends on how much time I have left. If I have 20 minutes, I'm putting on Mechana's The World We Lost.
You're trying to like freaking cheat it. You're like, I'm sure there's like a Sun Zero apostrophe song. It's like 45 minutes long. I can get one last jerk out of this.
Or if I have less than 10 minutes, I'm probably going to go either with, no, because that's World Coming Down by Typo Negatives, 11 minutes long. So let's say if I got sub 10 minutes, I'm going to listen to Typo Negatives, Everyone I Love Is Dead. Which is a bleak song, but I feel like it's fitting.
I mean, on one hand, maybe these are bleak answers. On the other hand, you asked us about everything dying. So, like, sorry we didn't give the cheeriest answer on this one, butthole.
Kana also shared, I don't want to set the world on fire.
See, I feel like that would be a good one for, like, an apocalypse people might survive, the, like, Fallout type.
Yeah.
Almost the end of the world, but there's still going to be a few survivors around.
Let's put it this way. If I survive the apocalypse, the first song I'm going to put on is Big Iron.
Yeah.
Because of Fallout New Vegas.
Big Iron on his hip.
Okay, so we got one more question for the Turing test one. And that came in from Jeff. What is the hardest test that you've ever been given? Your answer to this in the chat was the theme song for Test from WWF.
That's a good... I already forgot I made that joke. That's really good. Shit. Well, I'm glad that future me thinks past me was funny.
hardest test I've ever been given definitely was not my GED test. That shit was easy as fuck.
I was gonna say, I'm thinking of all of these like college tests, and the SAT and the ACT were fucking easy. Come at me, chumps.
I've had very hard tests of patience.
Yeah. You're testing my patience right now, motherfucker. You want to fight? You want to kiss? You want to kiss and fight a little bit?
We're going to go out to the van and pick each other's butts. Yeah, naked. What?
Hold on. My air conditioning just came on.
Let's see.
Oh, I turned you off.
I think I'm going to say the hardest test I've ever been given was from God. And it was
Why
dating.
did you give me this enormous dick and nothing to use it on?
It was dating Savannah as a whole was the
Brutal.
hardest test I've ever had.
I didn't know you considered her a whole.
On the whole, I feel preparation age feels good. I agree. Preparation age does feel good. On the whole.
I love that joke. That's a good one.
But yeah, no, her for sure. I have PTSD and gray hairs from that relationship. So there's my answer.
I would say my sincere answer is when I went to do the ham radio exam, I actually tested into the basic level. Like there's 3 levels of being like 3 ranks of ham radio or whatever. And so I passed the technician test so easily that the guy was like, well, do you want to try for the general rank test? And I'm like, sure, I haven't studied for it, but I'll give it a shot. And somehow out of needing 35 answers out of 50 correct, I got 36. So I was
Nice.
1 away from failing that test, but I passed it. So that's the hardest test I ever passed by definition, since I only passed it by 1.
All right, then we got questions covered from the last episode. Our bad. It was very late.
Yeah, we started that episode so late. I think at one point in the show, I'm even ideating, like, have we been recording for like a really long time, or is it just super late?
Yeah, I know Adam had messaged me and was like, oh, you forgot my question. And I was like, oh, man, I'll get to it on the next one, I promise. And he goes, no, it's no big deal, man. He goes, when Willie said it was 2:30 a.m., I was like, damn. I was like, yeah. Yeah, we recorded quite late that night. But
yeah, we got a much more reasonable time today. You know, I've been a little sick. I've been a little oversleeping. But today, I got up for the show. I got up because I needed to do it for my boy Dalton. And I had to do it for Ochet and for Casti and for all the rest.
yes, sir. And so that covers the questions for now. So that leads me to, how you doing, bud?
Man, so last week I actually spent a week in Middle Tennessee house sitting for my brother's dog and house and gecko.
Hell yeah.
So, do you know the cool thing about a gargoyle gecko is? The cool thing about a gargoyle gecko is you can live in the same house as that thing for a week and never see it once.
Yeah.
Like, I know that they told me that, this thing is crepuscular. It's not likely to show up too often. I had no idea how much it didn't give a shit about being awake during the day. It was amazing.
Yeah, I house sat for Brandy one time when she was gone for a weekend, and she has 2 geckos, and I would just go in there and make sure that they were not laying over dead, and other than that, they were fine. Like, they had water, they had little food in there, and they were straight.
Literally, that's it. I would just change the food bowl out once every other day, and then it didn't even seem like it was touching it, because Nate also left like 6 live crickets in the tank, so I think that's what Dale mostly ate. And then his dog is half Shih Tzu and half Beagle. And that sounds like that should be like an insanely neurotic dog, right? All she does is lay down and sleep. That's literally the only fucking thing this dog does. She lays down, she sleeps, and she farts. That's it. That's her full-time job. She's amazing dog.
She's the opposite of Lilith, who sleeps, and then when she wakes up, she's a menace to society, and then she sleeps.
So yeah, it was an easy job. All I had to do was just, hang around, make sure nobody broke into the house, and that's about it. It was wonderful. But while I was down there, I didn't have all my files with me because I only take my external drive, not my whole computer. So, I didn't hang out in the Discord as much, so I'm still catching up on stuff I missed while I was down there. But honestly, being half offline was pretty nice for me.
Yeah, I've been doing a bad job at it, but trying to avoid social media more, because my Facebook, I did it to myself because of algorithm stuff, but I just basically get shown political shit on Facebook only. And so Facebook has basically become my place to bitch about politics, and then that's it. And I could give a fuck about people on there. Really, like the people that I do care about, they either message me on there or they have my number or Snapchat or something. Like, no one ever comments on my shit to have a conversation anymore.
Yeah, and then freaking like on the other ones, it's like Twitter is completely lost now. And then Blue Sky is so full of like liberals that just left Twitter 5 weeks ago that have no idea what a joke is and just want to scold people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. On Twitter, I'm a liberal piece of shit, but on Blue Sky, I'm a MAGA piece of shit because I like wrestling. It's real fucking weird, man.
Yep. That's about it. Because it's like all these, it's not people that are like super far left, educated, well-read, that understand, they could recite Marx to you and shit like that. It's always these people that it's identity politics. And it's like, well, you shouldn't be paying money to that company that supports Saudi Arabia. And it's like, bitch, I know you just had lunch at Chick-fil-A. I just saw your fucking thing a moment ago. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, man, just like people are allowed to like things, even if they don't necessarily always agree with everything that they do.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have a lot of problems with the WWE, for sure. There are issues with the culture. Fucking, they harbored a lot of people that did some bad things. They associate in the sports washing thing in Saudi Arabia. That doesn't mean I think everyone that watches WrestleMania is a fascist. That's an idiotic thing to think.
Yeah, that, and it's like, I also don't think that every wrestler that wrestles there is a piece of shit because the company has weird decisions. Like, the wrestlers have no say in that.
Yeah, it's like it's the place where you could get the biggest paycheck in the world at the sport at this point in time. Obviously, it's what people want to be in. WrestleMania is the biggest show. It is, the highlight of the industry. Like, it's just ridiculous. People make such a dumb political thing about it. And it's like, I get it to some extent, but I also am like, y'all know that this is why people on the far left believe the phrase, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Because it's not like you paying the other billionaire money is making you that much better of a person.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Politics has become team sports these days.
Yeah.
I hate the Patriots. I love the Buccaneers. Or I hate the Buccaneers and I love the Patriots. There's no middle ground. It's just the way shit's going right now. But yeah, I think the base pay for the main roster on WWE now is like $250,000.
Yeah,
or some shit.
It's
so
crazy.
it's like
why would you not take that job if you could get it?
That's what I'm saying, dude. And people,
like, even if they're just going to put me on NXT UK and have me wrestle 3 times a year, fucking now I'm Lanny Poffo. I'm loving it.
And we covered this on Grumpy Jeff's, and I know this isn't a wrestling podcast. Jeff, skip ahead 2 minutes. WrestleMania, Randy Orton needed an opponent because Kevin Owens had to get legit neck surgery. So he was out. So Randy's standing in the ring, and people were like, oh, well, who's gonna come out and face him and everything? And these doors open, and you just see the back of somebody. And I went, oh my God. And all of a sudden, say his name and he appears. And he turns around and it's fucking Joe Hendry. He comes out. He has like a 3.5 minute match and loses to Randy Orton. They get up. But it wasn't a squash match. Joe got some stuff in. Joe got to hit his pose. And when he hit his pose, he got hit with an RKO.
My understanding was he basically just got waylaid because he was showboating when he should have been fighting. Which, that's a normal mistake wrestlers make all the time.
Gets hit with an RKO, pinned 1, 2, 3. He helps him up. Orton says, hey man, you showed up when we needed you. You can read Orton's lips. He's like, you fucking showed up. All these people love you, man. You're at fucking WrestleMania. Like, this is a moment for you. And he shakes his hand and he hits him with another RKO because it's Randy Orton. And then Orton stands up and he does the Joe Hendry turn and then does his arms up. And it's
release the doves.
It's a great moment. Yeah. And people online were like, oh, they fucking squashed Joe Hendry. This makes TNA look like shit. I'm like, bro.
Oh, yeah, because Joe Hendry isn't going to be over the next place he shows up at.
Yeah, that, and he was on WrestleMania, and he doesn't even work for WWE. Like, come on, dude. That's exposure. Like, that's wild exposure.
If you asked me to guess who was on the TNA roster right now, after Joe Hendry and Abyss, I wouldn't be able to tell you a fucking thing.
And here's the funny thing. Abyss isn't on TNA anymore. Abyss works backstage in WWE as a producer.
See?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, Joe.
I feel like that proves my point, even though I wasn't trying to be wrong.
Yeah. So what you been playing lately, man?
Oh man. Let's see. I definitely had a good one that I wanted to bring up, and now I forgot what it was.
I know you've been playing some Doom wads.
I have been playing some Doom. I've actually been playing quite a lot of Doom. Yeah, I've been, reading about it. I wanted to make a Doom WOD for the id 24 specification, which is what Legacy of Rust uses in the Doom 1+2 port. And so that has like new monsters and stuff in it, which I think is really cool. So I really want to use them because the new monsters in Legacy of Rust are just, they're awesome. They're really great. Like a lot of them use beta art from before Doom came out, like before they put the flames on the Lost Soul skull enemy, it was going to be like a projectile enemy, and they recreated the projectile enemy and call it the Ghoul. And then like they've got like new enemies that are really interesting. Like one of the cool features that this adds is the ability to have like fire on the ground that stays and lingers and creates a damaging area for a while. So they built a new monster called the Visago around that effect. And they gave the player a weapon that also uses that effect, the Incinerator. So now instead of a plasma gun, you have a flamethrower, but you also have to deal with this sick-ass enemy that uses a very similar attack and can control areas of the ground. So I feel like there's a lot of interesting ways to use that in combination with the classic Doom monsters, you know?
Yeah, a flamethrower in Doom would be rad.
Yeah.
Just melt me a cacodemon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It just cooks them. It's amazing. Like, I liked the plasma gun, but the Incinerator just feels insanely powerful. And then they had the big balls to replace the BFG 9000 with a new weapon. Like, you're taking the BFG 9000 out of Doom? Yes, but we created the Calamity Blade, which is like this. It's like the crossbow weapon from Doom Eternal, but bigger and badder. It's awesome.
Okay. I like the name, Calamity Blade.
Sounds so cool. And the way it works is like the longer you hold down the trigger, the wider the beam it shoots out is. But basically, shoots just like a straight up beam that cuts through things. Like it scythes down monsters in like a forward motion instead of the BFG, which is closer to like a single explosion.
Yeah, so it's more like a cone weapon in a way.
Yeah. I mean, the BFG technically works like a cone, but it's really hard to explain how it secretly works because what the BFG actually does and what it looks like it does are two very different things. The Calamity Blade does what it looks like it does.
I got you. Well, that sounds cool,
and so it's cool. And then they got other monsters that are like variants of other monsters. Like there's the Mind Weaver, which is just like a Spider Mastermind shrunk down to normal monster size. It still has a Spider Mastermind's attack, but it only has 500 health, so you can kill it pretty easily with a rocket launcher. They got the Tyrant, which is the same thing except for the Cyber Demon. They shrunk it down, broke the horns off of it, and then made it green or something. And it's also really cool. Oh, go
ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that was actually the end of that thought. I started to say and then before I actually thought about what I was going to say next.
I know you were sending screenshots from some Doom WOD you were playing where everything was like Barney palette.
That's right! Oh, that's the one I wanted to talk about. Junk Food 4. Okay, so Junk Food 4 is this Slaughter Speed Map Mega WOD community pack that came out sometime last year. It was like 2024. And you say Barney because it used a lot of these really purple and green colors. It looks really cool. The theme of it was Halloween-y, so of course everything was purple and green and orange. And instead of health, you have drinks, and instead of armor, you have snacks. So there's like Doritos and Mountain Dew and Monster Energy drink running all over the place. And at first I thought, okay, it's kind of a jokey little thing, but I'm having fun with it. But the more I played it, I'm like, oh my god, this is really well made. Like map 4 especially really got me because it was it's called Protein Shake, and the way this level works is the only weapon you get is a rocket launcher with infinite ammo. All the enemies run up straight at you. It's all imps and melee only revenants and archviles. And so they just all crowd you, so you're more likely to kill yourself with your rocket launcher than the enemies. And then at the very end of the level, if you look at the map, it's shaped like a shake weight, which I think is supposed to be like a joke on E3M2 from Doom, where it's shaped like a hand at the end.
A fucking shake weight. Makes me think of South Park.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there a weapon in Doom, or am I thinking of a different first-person shooter where you get it and suddenly you just run around punching things for a while?
The really Berserk strong. Pack in Doom.
Okay. In the junk food thing, they should make that PBR.
You just gotta crush a cannon and go bam, bam,
and just start punching shit.
Because
again, South Park, if you drink a PBR, you are going to commit domestic violence. And that's the joke. Whether you get arrested, if there's PBR in your fridge, the cops are going to show up and you're going to get arrested and you have to look at the camera and say, I'm white trash and I'm in trouble.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. There's a lot. I know you quit watching South Park after a certain point, and there's been so much since then that's just been hilarious, but it's all like wrapped into this one long weaving storyline that they do now. It's pretty wild.
It's not like I stopped watching South Park out of like really fucking looking down on it. It's just I don't have cable TV anymore, and I don't really care enough
to seek it. Yeah, no, I get it, dude. There's plenty of shows that I like when I stopped watching Dish Network back in the day that I just stopped watching.
Yeah. Sadly, though, I'm pretty sure the Berserk pack is just I think it's Green Monster energy drink is the Berserk pack in this one.
Hey, man, that counts too. Kyle punching a hole through a wall. I get it.
That is true. Very good.
So, yeah, man. Been checking anything else out? Anything else that you jumped out to you this past couple weeks that you want to bring up?
Man, I thought I had more going into this because I felt like I had like a lot of shit to talk about, but that might have been most of it. I want to say shout out to Jersey Mike's sub sandwiches because I had one when I was in Clarksville, and I cannot believe that Subway has the gall to charge the same amount as these people when they actually put food in theirs.
Yeah, dude. You know what's funny is I have one thing I get from Subway. I get their Philly. And every time I order that and I'm eating it, I'm like, this is not a Philly. This is like a pepper steak sandwich or something, because that's all you taste in the meat is just pepper. It's very, very odd. I eat them and then later on I hate myself. It's one of the better
Subway sandwiches, which that doesn't say a lot for the pepper steak, but it really doesn't say a lot for the other fucking sandwiches.
Yeah. Like, I will take Firehouse sub or something like that over Subway any day.
Firehouse is lit. I would have been shouting them out if I'd eaten them recently, but instead I went with Jersey Mike's because they do the good cold subs. I think of Firehouse as being a place I want to get hot subs from.
Oh, yeah, dude. I get that the brisket, beef and cheddar.
Yeah. Yes, you know what's up.
Yes, sir. So, over the past couple of weeks, there has been a lot of rumblings and talk.
Royal rumblings?
And then there were... No, that was a couple months ago. But there was a couple screenshots leaked that were hinting around that they had remastered.
I could just leave the room for the next 25 minutes because this dude could talk your ass off about it forever.
Yeah, but I won't dwell on it too long. But
No. I want to hear more. I'm very curious about the first-hand impression. I am actually going to leave the room just to use the restroom for a moment, but I still have my headphones on.
Oh, you're good. So I go to sleep because they're like, okay, tomorrow there's going to be a stream about it. Bethesda's going to do a stream. There's an Oblivion. They're going to talk about the Oblivion remaster. I'm like, oh shit. It's an actual thing. It's real. I've always wanted this. I can't believe this is real. Oh shit. So I go to sleep. I sleep through the stream. I wake up and all I see is a Discord notification that says Kana, and then it's a link about Oblivion. So I clicked it and it's like Oblivion remake available now. Immediately went to Steam and bought it and downloaded and installed it. And I have been having an absolute blast with it. It looks beautiful and it still has all of that wonderful Oblivion jank that I adore. Not to say I haven't had issues. The game has a couple bugs in it at the moment that I'm sure will be hashed out, but one of them was real weird. Well, I'll say if I try to turn on hardware ray tracing, the game just crashes. It's the same thing in Cyberpunk, the same thing in Black Myth Wukong.
Having that problem in a lot of games lately.
Yeah, it's something to do with NVIDIA's latest drivers, apparently. But software ray tracing works fine. So I have that turned on high, and it looks fine. So I've been playing. It's been beautiful. The other weird bug that I had, and I only have one monitor hooked up right now, because if you run a dual monitor system and you go to play Oblivion, if you try to play in full screen, it will play at like 2 frames a second.
Huh.
But if you unplug your second monitor, runs fine.
That is perplexing.
Very, very odd. So I'm just running one monitor right now so I can play some Oblivion.
You know what, though? I mean, this is what we want from Bethesda, honestly. Give us shit that doesn't fucking work in so many interesting ways we have no idea why.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I might have shitted on Starfield because it wasn't a very good game. Oblivion, on the other hand, is actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, and honestly, the jank that it's got to me adds to its charm.
Exactly. I mean, that's the reason I bought Skyrim was basically because of people telling me stories about the emergent, like, things that happened in it and that, like, weird shit that they'd seen in their own file. And that was my first actual me playing it, except for the Daggerfall demo back in the 90s of any of the Bethesda main games.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I completely missed Morrowind and Oblivion, except I knew a friend that had them on Xbox, and so I watched them play it a little bit, but I never played those myself.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just like a nostalgia to the jank that just just doesn't bother me. Like
I feel that. Like I feel that nostalgia even having not played Oblivion, like played that game's ass off. I still see that. I'm like, oh, that's so charming. Love you, little potato faces.
And I think because of that, I also don't mind when I play games that I see on the internet referred to, as having Eurojank. So like Gothic, Elix, any of those types of games, like these RPGs, I think even Greedfall, where they're RPGs, but they are made in Europe. They call it Eurojank. And I don't mind it, because to me it adds the charm, because usually it's not game breaking, it's just something silly that happens.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that is the main line too, because I think that's what Bethesda learned with Skyrim is like, they're like, should we patch the giants knocking you into space out of the game? Hell no, people think it's funny.
Yeah, no, because it's not game breaking.
Yeah, you were already dead, now you're just really dead.
Now you're real dead, yeah. Or if you were close to death when you hit the ground, now you're dead. Because I don't know if you can eat cheese while falling 100 feet. I love those memes where it's like you're in a fight and the guy's like, it cuts to the enemy and they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And it cuts back to like the dude just shoving like a lettuce, and he's got like a cheese wheel in his other hand and he's just shoving it into his mouth. He's like, hold on real quick, I gotta eat all this stuff and then we can fight.
I saw a meme like that. It was like, it had the Dragonborn and Link from Breath of the Wild and like one other dude doing that. It cracked me up. I can't remember who the other dude was off the top of my head, but it was a good one.
Yeah, I love it. So I've been having a great time with Oblivion. I'm
so happy to hear that.
You know me, I use God mode in those games. So I went in and I typed in TGM and it said, if you use console commands, your achievements will be disabled. I was like, oh, well, damn it. So I go on to Nexus Mod Manager, or Nexus Mods, and I'm looking. They were like, Oblivion is going to be really hard to mod because it's in the Unreal Engine 5, and Unreal Engine 5 is notoriously hard to mod. There's like 800 mods up there already.
Holy shit. Dude, never underestimate the fucking Elder Scrolls modding community. That's insane.
I will say most of them are not like creation kits style mods because that hasn't been released yet. So they're not like adding new world spaces or anything, but one of them disables that, where if you use the consoles, then it disables achievements. So I started a new game and I went back and I was going through and getting the achievements that I missed going through the first.
Such a cheating bitch that you installed the cheating doesn't count as cheating mod?
Yeah, of course.
I hate you.
This game's old as balls. I don't give a fuck.
That's true. Well, why do you give a fuck about getting the achievements?
Because I like that little pop-up coming up every now and then. It's just a good, nice hit boost of serotonin.
Yeah, it would be an even nicer one if you earned it, jackass.
Nah.
I don't know why I'm being so freaking aggro today.
I have played through and beaten Oblivion on console, so
you know what?
Can't cheat on console.
That's fucking valid.
So, yeah. I remember I specifically bought a PC to be able to play Skyrim with God mode and mods. Like that was the OG reason. So, because they released mods on PS4 for Skyrim and they were ass.
None of these turns all the dragons into Macho Man Randy Savage.
Dude, I saw one recently that someone made where they just replace all the dragons in Skyrim with the state of Ohio.
I haven't seen that. The two dragon ones that I know of are like the most famous dragon ones are the Macho Man Randy Savage one and the Thomas the Tank Engine one.
The Thomas one's creepy. I mean, the Macho Man one is also
weirdly
creepy,
scary. They actually someone made a game about that, like where like you're being hunted by a train and it kind of resembles the train from that game.
Choo Choo Charles.
Oh, it is Choo Choo Charles. Yeah, that's actually correct.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, when I was playing games with some people, Steph and them, man, I feel really bad that I can't remember his name right now. Cody. That's his name, Cody. He was really hype about that game coming out. He had picked it for our back when we were doing the draft thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he had picked.
You were always giving
game.
us updates, even though you were obviously going to kill everybody before 3 months were done in the season.
Yeah, they underestimated me. And
dude, they so understated you.
I was like, guys, I do.
Dude, didn't you get Elden Ring?
Yeah, I think I got Elden Ring and Starfield.
Yeah, like.
But I think I ended up losing points for Starfield because it didn't come out.
I was gonna say Starfield didn't have a good release, but
no,
Elden Ring was like. It just turned out whoops, I accidentally drafted the best game ever made.
Yep. Let's see. I've also been Infinity Nikki came out for Steam, so I got that loaded up.
Oh yeah. So that's kind of like a dress-up game?
So, yeah, in a way. It's like Super Mario 64 Collectathon meets Barbie dress-up game with a gotcha really element.
Like, I'm not trying to, like, junk on you by saying, like, it's a dress-up game. It's just, like, didn't the Nikki series originally start as, like, Flash dress-up games or something?
That I'm not sure. I do believe that is the case, though. But it's such a... Like, after reading through House of Fata Morgana, which I'll touch on in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very... it's just lighthearted. You know, you go in there and you do these quests, you're running around, you're trying to find whim stars. It's literally just like a 3D collectathon.
It does sound very pleasant.
And you get different outfits and you can dress your person up and you have to do like style battles against people, or certain outfits that you have certain abilities. Like one of your outfits, you can go up and like care for animals. So like you clean them and you gather their fur or something and you can use that in crafting. Or you can catch insects. Like there's all different kinds of stuff that different outfits do.
The more you talk about it, it really does sound nice, actually.
It is, and there is a gotcha element to it, but like in my experience, it's real easy to earn all the stuff that you need to get different pieces of outfits and things. Like I haven't felt the need to buy diamonds or anything like that. I did do today. I signed up for the little like month thing that they have. And I only got 1 month of it. It was $4.99, and it's literally just because like I've put a good handful of hours into the game, and it's free. So I was like, I'll toss the devs a little something because I've been having fun with it. So like $5, yeah.
And I feel like that model really. I know that people tend to think of free to play as play to win games or whatever, but I really do feel like if I've played a game for free for a long time and I just feel like I can give the devs a bone because they made a game I liked, I feel like I'm doing it out of the generosity of my heart rather than like I'm being forced to. And it makes it so much easier to keep on doing that too.
Yeah, because it's not one of those situations where I feel like I need to pay to progress.
Yeah.
It's
like, buying skins for Brawlhalla back in the day, for instance, like, I definitely was like, hey, Blue Mammoth are doing their best. And they're making a great fighting game that their community, really has great esports in. So I'm happy to pay money to get the Roman Reigns skin.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And they recently added a multiplayer update. So now you can play with other people. I haven't quite figured out how that works yet, but I do know that you can run up to your friend and hold their hand, and then you guys can run around holding hands and doing platforming and stuff like that. So it's just like it's super cute. It's super cute game, dude.
That sounds so sweet. The moment you said run up to your friend, and I'm like, he's going to talk about some of that kind of shit we did in Red Dead Online.
No, as far as I know, like, so you have a dress that allows you to shoot like this green ball of energy type stuff, and like so far enemies will shoot things at you, and then you hit the enemies with that, and it purifies them. So there's not really I haven't seen a PvP element or anything like that. And I know there are bosses that I haven't quite gotten to. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's just a really fun time, man. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah, it just sounds nice.
It really is. And Nikki's a cool character, and everybody that I've met so far has been cool. Like, I think you'd enjoy it. And like I said, it's free. So maybe that can be one we do for the show sometime, just to be like...
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised we haven't done more online games, because like by now I'm insanely surprised you haven't pulled Black Desert for us.
That's one that I've thought about. I've also thought about like Genshin or Honkai Star Rail, which I prefer over Genshin personally, because Honkai Star Rail, it's turn-based. It's like a turn-based battle system, and I like that. But, Genshin, Zelda on PC, basically.
So there's
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Is like when people describe Genshin to me, they always talk about it as a gacha game. But every time I've looked up gameplay of Genshin, it just looked like Breath of the Wild, but kind of like not as good. Like if there's like a tier list, it's like Breath of the Wild, then Phoenix Immortals Rising, then Tears of the Kingdom, and then Genshin Impact. But they're basically the same game, all of them.
Yeah, and the gacha elements and stuff in Genshin all come back to if you want a specific character. Like, if you play it like I do, where I'm like, I don't know who any of these fucking characters are.
Yeah.
So when I just get a new one, I'm like, oh, cool, who are you?
And people will tell me like, oh, this character in Genshin Impact's hot. Just look at this twink. Look at him. And I'm like, that dude looks the same as everyone else in this fucking game.
Yeah, and they're... You know, I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I need the absolute best team, so I need to get this draw. Like, if there's somebody that I'm like, oh, they look cool, and I'll spend my draws on them. If I don't get them, well, that sucks. Maybe next time. And if, you know, if that banner goes away, they do bring them back. So it's like, it's not the end of the fucking world. Whereas there are people who are like, no, that person's OP. I need them on my team. Let me spend $1,000 to try to get him to pull. Now, that's an exaggerated amount, but you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, I get what you're talking about, that whales are ultimately what make these economies work.
Yeah, 100%.
But as someone who doesn't have whale spirit, I just don't care about enough. I don't care enough about a game to spend money on shit that I don't think is just like I will pay money for cosmetics. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny too, because like the original horrible DLC was horse armor from Oblivion, and yet now I'm like, you know what, man. Maybe that horse needs some armor.
Right? But yeah, and there's another one that Hoyoverse did that came out
Zenless
that I think
Zone Zero.
I think you would enjoy. That is Zenless Zone Zero, yeah. But then there's Wuthering Waves.
I don't know anything about that one. I only know the other three we've talked about.
So Wuthering Waves is a different company, but it's the same style of game, like open world with gacha elements, action RPG style thing. Apparently really good. Just released on Steam. Was an Epic exclusive, but it just came out on Steam. There's also like Grand Saga. There's all kinds of games like that. There's a Tower of Fantasy that are all of these similar styled games. So, but they're all free to play. So they're games that we could touch on, you know, and it just kind of maybe make those episodes be like, okay, so here's how fun the game is. Here's how predatory it is or not. And
here's how horny the waifus make
and
me.
here's our ranking of waifus and husbandos. Yeah.
This dude made my heart go doki doki.
Doki doki. And speaking of Doki Doki, because that is a visual novel.
Nice transition.
I finally finished The House of Fata Morgana. The House in Fata Morgana.
You've shown me some screenshots of it. Some really nice art.
Or as you refer to it, The House of Fat Morgan.
I've called it several things.
Yeah, I want to...
I think I called it House of Fart on Morgana right before we started recording.
Yes, you did.
Making it into a Persona 5 joke, so...
I'm going to, in the recording chat here, I'm going to post a quick screenshot. This is the final screenshot I got.
Okay.
This was the ending screen for the true ending, and I just adore the art style so much, dude. Like,
yeah, that's really detailed.
So that's Michael and Giselle. I only got one ending, and I got the true ending. There are 7 other endings that I need to, if I want to, go back and see that are all bad endings or dead endings, or dead end endings, excuse me. But, man, how do I put this in? So I wrote a little synopsis in the Backlov Golf. So what I said in there was, oh my God, one of the best novels, not just visual novels, but one of the best novels that I have ever had the pleasure to read. What an absolutely heartbreaking story of love, loss, tragedy, triumph, transgender identity, and hope. Absolutely incredible story. Did not expect it to take the turns that it did. Did not expect the whole transgender storyline. This game will absolutely tug at your heart. I call it a game. This novel will absolutely tug at your heartstrings.
Damn, sounds like it has a lot of themes going on.
It does. And it wraps them all in so well that it really blew me away how good this was. I have almost 80 hours into it, but that is, a good 40 of that is probably me putting it on, reading, an hour or two worth, and then having to fuck off for 6 hours and do other stuff or falling asleep.
Yeah.
But
you are known to do that, Mr. 5 million hours in Firestone.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's an idle game. I just let that run in the background. But man, I cannot recommend the House in Fata Morgana enough.
Do you think I would like it? Because I mean, like,
yes.
I didn't even realize it had like those queer themes, and that sounds really interesting to me.
Yes, I think you would like it a lot. And it's you remember Higurashi we just read, there were no choices. There are choices in this game that lead to different endings and stuff. But it's basically to sum it up without giving any kind of spoilers, you wake up as a shadow inside of this mansion and you're greeted by the maid, and she leads you through these doors to see stories that had happened in this mansion. And you kind of have to figure out how all the stories tie together. And there's more to it than it seems, and there are tiebacks. You'll be sitting there and you'll be like, oh my god, like something from 20 hours ago suddenly makes so much more sense, and you're like, oh my god. Like, oh man, it's just so good.
I love when a game's writing like brings the whole story together. Like, I know nobody played the game I talked about that was like the text adventure with the CD, because otherwise people would have been DMing me like, what the fuck was that moment?
Well, plug it again then.
I think it was called Type Help.
Type Help?
Yeah.
I'll have to I'll check it out at least.
I think you'd like it. I think it's kind of a murder mystery. It takes place in kind of like a setting that's kind of similar to Clue or The House on Haunted Hill.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Like big lock-in at a mansion one night, that sort of thing.
So I've been searching and trying to think of another visual novel that I want to dive into. Like today, I just, against my better judgment, because I had a couple of Patreon books. Not a bunch, because for some reason it didn't process until late tonight and then tells me I can't do anything with it until tomorrow. But I had a couple books from the JRPG Report go on to the Steam store, and Steins Gate was like $8. So I was like, I have always heard this is really good. So I'm just going to snag that to have, because along with Oblivion, I think I want to try to start doing more visual novels as my side thing when we're doing especially long games and stuff, because I can sink time into, those games. And when I don't feel like playing something, I can just read. But still, if I'm sitting at my computer, I can still do other things too, and alt tab out if I need to, yada, yada, yada. But I can just sit there and kind of read and enjoy a story, because I do like reading a lot. But anytime I lay in bed to read one of my books, I read a little bit and then I go to sleep. So
it's good to have books you can fall asleep to. I'll just read this nice little calm story and everything will go well.
Oh yeah, man, going to sleep to the Gunslinger, that'd be fine. Well, that's like next to my bed I have Dungeons and Desktops.
To be fair, some of these books are actually really nice. Like, look, Tales from the Arabian Nights. That's lovely.
Let's see. I got Dungeons and Desktops, which is Matt Barton's book. I've got 3.
Oh, Matt Barton. Shout out to Matt Barton, by the way. Patreon supporter and cool content creator.
Yeah, Matt Barton's the man. His YouTube channel is like...
That interview with John Romero, I swear to God, I love that so fucking much.
Yeah, he does a really good job documenting like older games and their creators and having them on for interviews. It's a great channel. Go check it out. Matt Chat.
Chat.
I've got his book.
The Matt Chat with John Romero was incredible to me.
I've got 3. Oh my God, I can't think of his name.
Give me a hint.
Japanese horror manga artist.
Junji
Ito. Yes, I have 3. Yeah, thank you. My brain put it together like before you even said it, but yeah, I got 3 Junji Ito books over there, and then I have The House of Leaves.
You haven't read House of Leaves yet, have you?
Not yet.
Dude, that book is a fucking journey, I'm telling you.
I did, like, when I went to go buy it, I just skimmed through it. Yeah. And, like, some of the way the pages looked, I was like, that is so wild. And I remember showing it to Diana.
It gets freaky real fast.
I remember, like, opening up and showing Diana a page, and it's just, like, the page is blank, except right in the middle, there's, like, a square, and you can see, like, 5 words in the square, and she goes, what the fuck is that? And I said, that's a good idea, but I'm about to buy it to find out, because I keep hearing it's good.
Yeah.
I think you and Dane sold me on that book.
I really think it would be something you would like, particularly. Also, I once insulted the author of it on Twitter, so that was neat.
On purpose?
I was making a joke about the book, and someone I know who is followed by the author retweeted it.
LOL. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to read next. I'm leaning towards maybe Higurashi Part 2. Like I said, I got Steins Gate, so that's one that I've been thinking about. I do have some that are like visual novels, but they're Vampire the Masquerade, which I think would be interesting. But the 2 other than Higurashi that I'm looking at that are kind of more on that style are Yumi and Her A Love Story and Wonderful Every Day Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm sorry, there are 3. There's one other one. The Fruit of Grisaia. I've heard is a very disturbing visual novel. And I don't know why I like disturbing visual novels, but like that's the path that I like to go down. There are disturbing moments in Fata Morgana, don't get me wrong, but it's not like an overall like. It's not like Doki Doki. You know what I mean?
It felt very gothic, but maybe not necessarily horror per se.
It had a very goth feel to it, and don't get me wrong, there are some horror elements in it. But it's more
not like
so,
Doki Doki where it is like absolutely punching you in the face with the fucked up bits.
No, yeah, it's more like situations happen, and then suddenly there's something really fucked up going on, and you're like, oh my god. But it doesn't really show anything. It's more like just gives you description of it, and yeah, there are some rough bits.
Have you ever played any of those like murder game type ones like Danganronpa or 999?
No, but those are on my wish list. I remember watching Paul and Chandra play through some of the Nonary games, and they looked interesting enough to me. But Danganronpa is one that I'm real interested in. I just don't have it.
It has a very distinctive art style for sure.
And I love it. I love that fucking bear, even though I think that's the antagonist of the whole thing. But,
yeah. Oh no, he's a piece of shit, but he is a really cool character.
He's a piece of shit, but he's a really cool piece of shit. He's like Randy Orton 2008. He's just but nah, so, yeah, I don't know, man. I've been really enjoying the visual novel spectrum. That's not the word I'm looking for, but just that style.
I'm on the visual novel spectrum.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if I am.
Dude, I already am neurodivergent. I'm ADHD and all that. I have asked to get tested. We'll find out. Would you be even slightly surprised to find out I'm autistic? Really?
Probably not, but at the same time, with everything going on right now, I don't know if I'd get tested for autism. I think I would wait. Because, what's his face wants to make a registry of everybody who's been tested for autism, so...
Well, he can register my nuts in his mouth.
That's what I'm saying, dog. Fuck you, old brain worm. Eat this dick. So anyway, the other than the visual novel stuff, other than that, I've just been playing pretty much Octopath.
It's good.
A little WWE game here.
Sorry to give away my feelings about the game, but I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and before we start chatting about it, let me... I got the obligatory Wikipedia bullshit pulled up here. Octopath Traveler Ii is a role-playing video game developed by Square Enix and acquired and published by Square Enix. It is a sequel to Octopath Traveler and the third entry in the series after the prequel mobile game Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent, released in 2020. Though it features a new cast of characters and settings separate from the prior games, it was released worldwide in February of 2023 for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Windows. It is the first Octopath game released on PlayStation platforms. Xbox One and Xbox Series X versions were released in June of 2024. Overall, it received positive reviews from critics. So, Willie, first impressions of some Octopath Traveler 2. We played this thanks to the Dankest. So shout out to you, my good sir.
Thank you, Dankest. So I'm going to be honest, jumping into this game, I got what I wanted immediately. Like, it fed me with these gorgeous graphics, this combination of 2D sprite art, 3D platform backgrounds and all of that. And then it asked me to pick a character. And I just kind of froze at that screen for a while. Because there are 8 different people located throughout the whole map. And I actually figured out which one I wanted first. But then I was like, but what about this one? 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 But in the end, of course, I took the amnesiac chemist.
Oh, Casti. Okay.
Casti, yes.
Did you notice the naming scheme?
I don't know if I noticed the whole scheme. I noticed the name Ochette sounds like it would mean like little 8 in French. But like ocho from Spanish and et, the French suffix for little. But no, is there a full naming scheme?
Yeah, all of the characters' names, if you take the first letter, spell out Octopath.
Oh, no, I didn't catch that. That's that's good. I love that kind of shit. Yeah, because there's Hikari.
There's Ochette, Casti, Temenos, Oh shit, hold on. I have it pulled up. I can't remember the other O, and I feel bad. There's Ochette, Casti, Temenos, Oswald, Partitio, Agni, Throne, and Hikari. Yeah, Octopath.
Wow. No, I wiki didn't catch that. Did they do that in the first game too?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. And there is apparently like the story ties together the best if you play it in that order.
What, like O, C, T, P, etc.?
Yeah. I don't know how true that is, but
I jumped in as I had Casti and Hikari first, so I definitely didn't do the order right.
No, yeah, I started with Hikari. I was like, oh yeah, give me the warrior. I want the warrior. I want my knight. I want to tank him up. I want defense right off the bat.
And he was absolutely. I have never taken him out of my party since I started the game. He is so strong.
Yeah, the way this game works is the character that you choose in the beginning is locked into your party until you beat their story. Once you beat their whole story, you can then remove them from your party if you wish. But I still kept Hikari in my party the entire time.
Yeah. And even then, like, the other way this game works, I think is an interesting thing to bring up, is you run into these 8 people all kind of just on their own doing something. And when you meet them, you can actually play through their backstory. Each of them have a chapter 1. And so that's how you get to know, like, where they came from before you even came across them. Yeah.
The only one that strays from that is Oswald, and it's just you have to play his chapter 1 and 2 before you're let back out. Yeah, so let's do I have a little overview of the characters here. So there's Ochette, or Ochetta, as how I called her in my brain, but I think it's just Ochette, is a hunter hailing from the islands of Totohaha, aided by one of the 2 animal companions that you select at the beginning. When she is a child, you set out to, as I saw it worded, catch 3 legendary Pokemon and then solve Ganon's Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Now here's the actual description of it, and you can tell me if that's on par. She sets out to catch 3 legendary beasts in preparation for a prophesized calamity. During her quest, she learns the mysterious figure known as the Dark Hunter, who has agitated the beasts in the past. And yeah, it's called like the Crimson Moon or something like that comes. Yeah, so I mean, it's not far off. So then we got.
So basically, Ochette is like, she's a little wildling. Like, if you imagine like a child-coded version of Ayla from Chrono Trigger, you wouldn't be too far off.
Yeah, she's a beastling. She's like this little kid. She's got tail and ears. She's like a Mithra.
Yeah.
Or a Mikote from Final Fantasy 11 or 14, depending on what you play. But yeah, cat person. And she's super cool. I really liked Ochette a lot. Then you got Casti, who is who you chose.
Yes.
Who is an apothecary.
So she's an apothecary. I don't know why I said chemist earlier. I just couldn't remember the word apothecary.
And she has retrograde amnesia. So as you play through her story, you kind of have to regain her fragmented memories and stuff, which is a fun time.
And I'm going to guess, based on the fact that the place she shows up first, everyone thinks she's done something horrible, means probably some people from her past are not cool.
Yeah, and we can touch on that in a bit. Then you got Throne, who is a thief and a member of the Black Snakes, which is an assassin's guild. She's badass. I loved her to death. She was in my final party, as was Ochette. Oswald, he's a scholar who uses magic, and he is falsely convicted of murdering his wife and daughter. So that's a bit of his story's kind of serious. As opposed to Partitio. Partitio may be my favorite character. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had like a favorite and least favorite character, and Partitio is high up there for me too.
Partitio, he's got a southern accent, right? Now, Partitio's a merchant, and he's hailing from the towns of Orsrush.
Can I tell you one thing? I didn't have Nathan's... I was playing the game when I met Partitio at Nathan's house. I didn't have the headphones working because, honest to God, I just didn't secure them in all the way because I'm stupid. I thought everyone in that town was supposed to be read as Irish, not Southern, until I actually got the headphones working.
Higher thought, thank you kindly, lad.
Right? It kind of works.
But yeah, his town gets put under extreme poverty, and then you have to set out and eliminate poverty from the world with him, which I really enjoyed doing. Then you get Agnia, and she is a dancer, and she's just setting out with the intention of becoming a star and following in her mom's footsteps.
Yeah, she just finished saving up enough money to go out there and seek her dreams.
And then there's...
was it 10,000 leaves or something like that?
Yep, she needed to save up 10,000 leaves.
And she actually only got 9,000, but the guy that runs the tavern she works at most nights put the last bit down for her.
Yeah, it's a very sweet story. Of any of the stories,
dude, she's so beloved. She's so beloved. Everyone around her is like, "You're gonna make us proud. You're gonna make you're gonna put our town on the map." Thank you, Agni.
Yeah, she has the most lighthearted of the stories, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially because I was coming through all these other ones that are just really dark.
And speaking of that, then you have Temenos, who is a cleric hailing from the town of Flame Church. He's an inquisitor for the church, and he sets out to solve the mystery of his archbishop's murder. But leads him to discovering the existence of the Moonshade Order, which is a cult worshipping the dark god Vide the Wicked. And
does having not played all the way through the game, can I take a guess? Sure. Does the Moonshade cult have anything to do with the Crimson Moon?
Yes, in a way.
I'm a genius.
And then the final character, as we've mentioned, is Hikari.
That was your starting character.
Yeah, that was who I started with. Who is a warrior from and a prince, actually, a crown prince of the kingdom of Ku. You're forced to flee after your tyrannical elder brother Mugen stages a coup d'etat and murders the current king, who is your father, and takes over the kingdom in the process.
Yeah, the king was about to name you to be the future king because you believe in compassion and all Mugen cares about is conquest.
And your clan is known for being ruthless, bloodthirsty. So your king thought that you had it in you to change that and be a new, a turn over a new leaf, if you will. And Mugen was not having that shit.
Because all Mugen cared about was fucking slashing throats.
Yeah. So out of all of the stories, man, so Castes did not grab me at first, and neither did Temenos. But the more I played those, the more I was absolutely drawn in. So let's actually talk about. I know I got way further than you in this because I beat the game, but I'm going to go through and talk about kind of what you do with the characters themselves, and then I'll kind of hint around the big final act, but I'll leave that for people to find out on their own. If you would like to hear my opinions on that, feel free to DM me. But the way that it ties in is just so good that I don't want to spoil it for everyone on here. I know we could do the skip ahead 5 minutes or whatever, but I don't really want to spoil it for Willie either. But I will spoil.
I do find myself likely to play this game.
But I will spoil character stuff because none of it is going to make you not want to play it because it's so cool. So I'll go the order of this list I'm looking at of names. So Ochet, you have to go through these different towns and you have to get each of these legendary beasts that are asleep to help you with this crimson calamity that's coming. In the beginning of her story, when you choose the two different animal companions, which, by the way, did you do that?
Yes.
Which one did you choose?
What were the choices?
It was the fox or the owl.
I think I took the owl.
The owl? Okay, so I took the fox character. And when that happens, the one that you do not choose becomes imbued with this evil shadow energy and attacks you and flies off or runs off, depending on what you chose. So during the present day conflicts, when you go and you capture all these beasts, you have to go and on the night of the crimson moon or whatever, all of these shadow enemies start attacking the beastling and human village that's there in that little area of Tozohaha. And it ends up being that the leader of all of these things that are coming to fight you that you have to go and fight is the animal that you didn't choose in the beginning. It
seemed like it was setting that up from the very start, so that's not any kind of real spoiler to me.
Yeah, so it's really cool how they lead up to that. I really enjoyed her story being that she's just not accepted by humans. They are incredibly racist towards her because she's a beastling, but not all of them. Mostly just the ones that live near them. They want their land. They're like, give us more land. And they're like, we share the island with you already. Why do you humans always want more? And they're like, because we're having babies. We don't have enough room. It's definitely a commentary on human expansion into nature.
Oh, also Aslan is there.
Yes, basically. Ochet's mentor and the leader of the village and stuff is this really powerful lion. He's been keeping things in check while the legendary beasts have been slumbering. So you end up having to kill the shadow animal. So then that leads to Casti. As you start regaining her memories, you eventually get to an abandoned village that got destroyed, and you figure out it's because Trousseau, who was a member of your apothecary guild, ends up
I almost mentioned him earlier with the evil robot thing, but he's not a fucking robot. But it's the way a robot would handle it, right? So they're supposed to make the world better and solve everyone's pain and anguish and heal them. So he is like, what's the best way to solve everyone's problem? If your answer is to kill everybody, you are correct. So he creates this concoction that turns the rain purple. And when the rain hits your skin, it poisons you. So it literally kills an entire village.
Kind of similar to Cyan's origin story in Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, in a way. So as you're remembering this, you're followed along with a friend. I can't remember her name, but she's helping you out through the whole thing, where she just appears and talks to you every now and then. And then you finally restore your memories, and she realizes this girl who's been helping you this entire time, she looks at her and she goes, you're not alive anymore, are you? You're a spirit. And the girl's like, oh, yeah, I am. And she tells her, like, they finally figure out the final thing that they're doing, and that girl just fades away and disappears. And Cassidy's like, I won't let you down. And then you have to go and confront Trousseau and battle him as he's planning to cause the rain to happen in a very populated town.
Oh, wow, man. I knew there was something up with her, but I didn't know that was what it was going to be. That makes a lot of sense already.
It's really well told. Like I said, I was not into Cassidy at first, and then once things started unraveling, I got really invested in her story.
I think I just liked Cassidy because she is like, most of the player characters in the game just really want to help, and they're just decent people. But like literally all she wants to do is heal people, to such a point where like she shows up and everyone's like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking demon. And she's like, yeah, but I'm going to heal you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to heal you anyway.
Yeah, it's very nice of her.
So then you got Throne. She's the thief. Basically, her thing is she's got a vial around her neck that's with a locket or a lock on a collar. And if she tries to take it off, it will poison her and kill her. So she is trying to get the keys to the necklace to get it off of herself, to free herself from the black snake so she can leave. So she has to hunt down the mother and the father. So you have two different pathways that you do, the mother path and the father path. And you end up having to kill them both. And then it leads you to find out that he wasn't really your father. She wasn't really your mother. Your true father is a dude named Claude, who's been alive for a long time, just impregnating women, trying to create the best thief. He's the true leader of the Black Snakes, and you have to kill him in order to get the actual key that unlocks the collar. Because the keys that your parents had didn't unlock the collar, but unlocked the door to get to where he was at.
Huh.
And apparently only a handful of thieves had ever made it that far before, and he killed them all. So she's the first one to come and kill him. And I'm pretty sure
most people only get killed once.
He's holding a baby while you're fighting him, and I think Throne kills the baby too.
That's dark.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you're not wrong. So Oswald up next is the scholar. He gets framed for killing his wife and his daughter, setting his house on fire and burning them to death. Harvey, which is his former friend and associate with like research and stuff.
Are the characters really named Harvey and Oswald?
Yeah,
that's literally that's two Batman characters, man. That's Two-Face and Penguin.
That's very true. Well,
that's crazy.
Two-Face fucks over Penguin and kills his family so he can get him sent to prison so he can steal his research. And he starts to basically use shadow magic, right?
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's not. So it turns out that he didn't kill them when he burned down the house. He had kidnapped them and then burned down the house and framed him, but he wanted to use them for experiments. So you end up having to fight this creature that is run on the soul of your now dead wife. And you defeat that. You end up finding out that your daughter is still alive, but she doesn't know who you are, and she calls Harvey dad. So you end up having to kill Oswald before he can sacrifice your daughter in a dark ritual. And Oswald ends up getting access to light magic, which opposes the dark magic, and you end up fighting and killing Harvey to rescue your daughter. It was another one that like I wasn't too into it at first, and then by the end of it I was like, hot damn. It could have ended a little better, but overall was a really, really well told story.
Well, kids, that was a happy tale. Who's ready for the next episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Well, up next is one that's not as well, it's bad, but it's not as bad as Particio. So Particio's whole thing is he just wants to spread commerce.
But like, he's like the world's nicest capitalist. Like, he genuinely wants to do his trade in order to help people out and eradicate poverty and shit, which seems crazy naive, but it does seem like what he actually believes in.
Yeah, it's like, what if an American billionaire was a good person?
Like, when he was a boss of like a mining company or whatever, he like treated the miners really well, and the only reason the mine kind of went under was because they were being mismanaged by the landowner, essentially.
Yeah, and it caused silver to tank.
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah, I accidentally hit oh, there we go. Okay. I had accidentally hit where it full screened. I dropped my thing and it hit F11 and full screened my tab, and I was like, oh God, what did I do? But yeah, so Particio's whole thing is he's going out to try to spread commerce, and the town that he lived in got screwed over by a guy named Rook. And he discovers that Rook owns the rights to the steam engine, and he goes up to him and says, you know, like, I'd like to buy the steam engine from you, so because he wants to use it for good. Rook, you wants to use the steam engine for like war and things like that, and so he can just benefit and make all this money. Rook says, okay, you can buy my steam engine for 80 billion leaves. And the whole time you're going through and doing this, every time you do something big, there's a scrivener who shows up there, and is a little kid named Ori who lives in a blind forest. And he always writes these stories about you and stuff and gets your name out there. So Particio ends up meeting this businessman. I can't remember his name right offhand, but you do some stuff for him, and the businessman invests in you, and you go back to Rook, present him with the 80 billion leaves, and then he tries to be a dick about it and's like, no, I'm not taking basically what is a check. It's basically like a check in this world. He's like, how do I know the guy's going to pay up or whatever? And homeboy rolls up on a ship with all of the money. And at that point, the dude's like, rules. He can't say anything. So basically he says he's going to break the contract, and then you end up having to fight him. But, you know, all's well ends well. Particio ends up being the man.
I liked Particio quite a lot. Like, even though he could have been just like a petite bourgeois bullshit man, he's like, he cares about the people that work for him, you know, and the town that he's trying to build up.
And he's like a Southern gentleman. So he's just like, he's so nice to everybody.
Oh, he's such a kind dude. It's like, one of the things that actually kind of almost annoyed me about this game was I was playing it like, this is way too optimistic about the state of affairs right now. Like, maybe that's just me in 2025 being a little annoyed by politics and stuff, but I'm like, man, I can't believe there's this many good people in this game.
So then you have Agnia. Now, I love Agnia as a character. I loved her story. But as far as impact on the game, her story has the least, in my opinion.
Kind of unsurprising. I mean, her job is dancer, and her ambition is be famous dancer.
Yeah. You basically go through the story, and you're trying to become a big famous star, and there are things that are turnbacks and other things, but are setbacks, excuse me. But people always end up being endeared by her and love her and end up helping her out, except Dulcinea, who is the big famous star who is like, you think she's okay at first, but then you realize she's actually a huge piece of shit. Comes down to it, you end up finding out that Dulcinea was trained by Agnia's mother, and then you end up having to battle her in the end, and then you beat her, and you end up going out for an encore, and Agnia does a whole song, and there's like a little cut scene for it and everything. It reminded me a little bit of the Final Fantasy VI opera scene in a way. It was just a beautiful wrap up for that. But again, as far as impact on the story, there was little to none, in my opinion. So then you got Temenos, cleric, hailing from the town of Flame Church.
Cool name, love it.
Within the Moonshade Order, like I said, the cult worshipping Dark God, you end up going through and finding out that all these murders that keep happening, like the more you're looking into one murder, like you go to question somebody, they're dead. That kind of thing. Like all these loose ends are being cut before you can get there to try to tie them up. And it ends up turning out that the captain of the Sacred Guard that oversees these murder investigations and all that is the one doing the killing. So you end up having to defeat her and get her reasoning behind it. And she's trying to do a ritual to harness a dark power. This was around when I started seeing the theme with all of the characters when I was getting into Temenos' story, where I was like, okay, there's like a weird shadow thing going on with a lot of them, right? And then that led me into the first one that I saw, which is Hikari, which is a warrior. Like we said, Mugen takes over the kingdom, kills the king, and then Hikari is blamed for it. Basically said that he is he's exiled and he is a traitor, so you are not allowed back there.
Yeah, so they don't like him back in Ku, and then everywhere else in the world they think he's a Ku-ish warmonger, so win-win.
Yeah, so he really struggles with that and ends up showing people that no, he's a good person, but he's battling with this literally an inner demon that is the curse of his clan, and it is a shadow version of Hikari on the inside, who's like, anytime something, like, for instance, if you're in a fight with somebody and then the cutscene ends and they're like, just cut me down, you know, the fight's over, you've won, kill me. And Hikari's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. And his shadow form will appear and be like, cut them down, feed on the blood, you know that your sword craves it, that kind of thing. And he's constantly fighting back against that. So you get through all of these stories, and then you go through and you do, there are like sub chapters that are called crossed paths. So there's one with the apothecary and the hunter. So it's Casti and Ocheta doing something together. There's the cleric and the thief.
Girls' night.
Yeah, exactly. There's the scholar and the merchant, and then there's the dancer and the warrior. Once you do all of those, then the final quest opens up, and that's when all of them start to tie together. It gives you this cutscene for each of the characters that shows these people. Sometimes it was people you would expect to be the evil ones that were dealing with the shadow stuff that has to do with that story. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's other people. Like one that I will say is in Partitio's story, when you're watching the cutscene towards the end that's kind of explaining how all the stories tie together, the one who is dealing with the shadow shit is the little fucking kid, Ori.
Oh, wow. I was going to think either Gif or Roke.
I assumed it was Roke too, but no, it was the little fucker who was always following you around and talking about his older brother. And
Gif, by the way, is not a character we mentioned too much, but it's kind of like the big bully that ends up kind of getting his comeuppance early on in the story.
Yes. Yeah, he's like your first main antagonist for Partitio.
Yeah. Basically, he's kind of an asshole. He's like, he starts off as a thief, and then he starts sucking up to the guy that runs the, that effectively owns the mining town, and then you beat his ass because you form a revolution, because this game is freaking awesome.
Vive la révolution.
Oh yeah, gonna kick Rogue in the arse.
In the dick.
The dick arse.
But yeah, the way it all ties together, and then the final boss, and the way things work out, and then the ending cutscene where everyone says their goodbyes and they part ways is a very heartwarming scene, you know. And then you get everyone's like, "This is where they're at now. This is what happened afterwards." Yada yada yada. Fantastic game. So now that we talked about story and things like that, I'm curious, like, how did you feel about the battle system?
Dude, this is probably one of the most fun battle systems I've like, seriously, it feels like you picked up like the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy games and just continued from there as if the 3D era never existed. It was amazing.
Yeah, and how did you feel about the battle point system?
I actually kind of liked that, you know. I liked building my characters up, and like I liked that Partitio, for instance, had the ability to like gain job points with his maneuvers, for instance. But by battle point system, you mean the ability to like double attack, triple attack, quadruple attack,
yeah,
right?
Your boost points, yeah.
I think that was insanely cool. Like, the fact that not only can you use it to do multiple attacks per round, but you can also use it to boost a technique. It's amazing. It feels so good that it's like, it's one of those things like Gravity where you're like, how did nobody figure this out before?
Yeah, right. And what I like about it too is that it comes in help when you're needing to break an enemy, because each enemy has a weakness and then they have like a shield amount, and you need to hit them with their weakness to lower that shield, and when you get it to 0 they break, and then you can hit them for more damage. So like what I would like to do is take, I'll say Throne, if they were weak to dagger, and I would use her and use boost points to attack with dagger to get them to break, and once I got them to break, then I would have like Hikari, who had all of his boost points because I hadn't been boosting with him, boost all the way up to max and use one of his hard-hitting moves to just do a massive amount of damage.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't actually unlock Throne because I didn't finish the game or get all that far into it, but that is very similar to my strategy, is use my character's various weapons to break and then Hikari to just frick it. Because Hikari is a tank. Like, I can't imagine taking him out of my party. Like, I know you had to keep him in because you picked him as your starting character, but for me, Hikari was like, he was so strong. I was like, dude, he's got the juice.
And there are 3 secret jobs in this game. I unlocked 2 of them. One is Inventor. So you go around and you find... I didn't get very far in the Inventor thing because I didn't quite figure out how. But there are items that you can find and you bring them back to the Inventor and it gives you more attacks to use as that class. I had the Catapult attack with him, and then I had Springy Boots, which you would use on one of your party members and it would boost them up in the next turn to go first or whatever. The one that I didn't get was Arcanist, which is another type of caster. I never ended up getting that one. The one that I did get and I focused on though was Arms Master, and I put that one on Hikari. So the way Arms Master works is as you're going through the game and you go through like extra dungeons that are just around, you'll sometimes find rusty equipment. So you'll find like a rusty bow or a rusty axe or whatever. So you go to the town of Gravel, or Gravel, however you want to say it, and you find the Arms Master guy there, and he's like, oh, if you bring me the rusty weapons, I can restore them. They're legendary weapons, and I know how to restore them. So then you equip the Arms Master on you, and you can now wield all the weapons. Like, that's the Arms Master, obviously, with that kind of name. So you get each of these legendary weapons, and you equip them, and then when you equip that weapon, the Arms Master gets an ability related to that specific weapon. So, like, if you equipped a different axe, you can't use the Lionheart axe move. But if you have the Lionheart axe equipped, you have that move at your disposal. And I also had an item on Hikari that allowed him to break the 9999 damage limit.
Shit, yeah, dude.
So
that's some FF10 shit. Love to hear it.
Yeah, there were times that I would break an enemy, go to Hikari, boost all the way up, and use one of his hard-hitting moves, and I would hit for like 26,000 damage.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, it was so nice.
I love it. I love it.
But I think the battle system is really fucking good. To me,
it's wildly intuitive, and yet it feels really tactical too. Like, it feels like if you play the game smart, you can do a lot of really cool things, but it doesn't feel hard to use either.
Yeah, and to me it was the same way in the first Octopath game. Like, the battle system is just crisp. Like, they've got that down. But
this
as far
is probably
as
the best RPG combat we've played since Trails.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would. It's so good. And comparing 1 to 2, I think 2 did a lot of things better. And that's what you want from a sequel, is to just take the original idea and improve on it. Because in the original Octopath, one of the big complaints was that there was never really a lot of interaction between your party members. You kind of just had 8 members that all had their stories and they traveled together, but there was no... So one of the things in this game is you get party banter that'll come up every now and then, and you can hit the button and see the characters talk to one another.
I love that. Even like in combat, you get like, nice shot, Particio.
Yeah. All of that kind of stuff was not in the first Octopath. Like, it was very straightforward with what it was trying to do. This one was a lot more like tying in the characters together. And like I said, seeing the little cutscenes where like Ochette would talk to Particio for a little bit, or it would be like Throne and Temenos having a conversation.
Yeah, like when I first met Particio, he seemed really excited because I was playing as Casti as my main character, so he had like special dialogue for that, whereas I'm sure he had completely different dialogue meeting you as Hikari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's just fantastic the way that they fleshed everything out with the characters and stuff. I'm really happy that they did that, because I would like to go back and beat the first Octopath, because I've got a lot of time into it on my Switch. I'll probably end up playing it on PC, but like, now going back, I'm going to miss things that are in this game that are not in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
As far as quality
That's
of
the
life.
rough part about moving backwards in a series. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Mikolov, because he's like Yakuza 5ing with us right now, which means he's roughly expecting Yakuza 0 levels of polish for the games. And when he has to go back and play like 3, 4, that's going to be rough.
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that.
Yep. We made podcasts about it.
We did. So any final thoughts before we start talking about maybe some ratings? such.
I just wanted to say, I thought that this game, it really, I know I said this when we were talking about the combat, but to me it feels like it came out of time and space in such a fun way. Like, it literally feels like a direct follow-on to these 16-bit RPGs, and yet, even though there's a lot of new systems, a lot of new very clever systems in the game, they're so intuitive that you immediately understand how to use them. How to use your battle points to boost your attacks, how to use your battle points to boost your special moves, how to use weaknesses to damage the enemies, that it feels like this is how RPGs always should have been. Like, it's amazing. This is one of the greatest combat systems I've ever played.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, and one other thing we forgot to mention, the abilities to use outside of combat. So you can go up to people, and as Hikari say, you can challenge people to a duel. Some people are harder than others, but if you beat them, then you can then acquire the ability that they have and use it in your short list. It's almost like if you think Pokemon, where you have to replace your move sets if you want to change out moves, it's kind of the same way, but you get 5 instead of 4.
And like Casty has the ability to learn information from people, which is also the same ability Particio has at nighttime, except he has to pay them, I think. No, wait, no, it's Hikari at nighttime, right? Hikari has bribe.
So a lot of them share being able to do similar things because of depending on who's in your party, you want access to some of that stuff. Like Particio can hire people to walk along with you, or Ochette can capture beasts and things like that, or Agni can enchant people or entrance people to join you and come and fight along. But then you have like Particio can buy items from people, or Throne can steal them. So to me, it was like, all right, do I want to pay $3,000 for this item, or do I want to take this 75% chance to steal it with Throne?
Yeah, I kind of felt like... And then there's also even like a place you can go to in town that resets your karma if everyone gets pissed off at you for trying to steal.
Yeah. Or if you like fail to do an insight on them with Asphalt or something like that, or scrutinize. Yeah. And if you fail, then you can go and reset your reputation, because people will just kind of be like, meh. But yeah, dude, this, I understand why this art style started a phenomenon. I totally get why this game is ranked so highly, even above the original, because of just all of the improvements that they did. The battle system is damn near perfect for what they tried to achieve. The story is great. The way that they tie all the characters in together, I thought was brilliant. And there were some twists and turns that I didn't see coming, and that's something I always appreciate too. Did you
see? I feel a little bit bad about the fact that I didn't finish the game, but I have a clever little trick I can play to make this work. So when we rank these games, I usually try not to give games above an 8 unless I played them all the way through, really loved everything in them. Yeah. Except here's the coolest trick I can possibly give. I give Octopath Traveler an 8 out of 8.
There you go.
8 paths, 8 dudes, 8 fucking cool ways to fucking progress. This game rules. It's amazing. Yeah, 888. It's 888.
Yeah, this game is rad. I really enjoyed it. Dankest, thank you for getting us to play this.
And I hope the fact that we, punted a couple weeks for the recording didn't make you think we didn't want to play it, because God knows it's the opposite reason. We wanted to give this game a fair shake because it's amazing.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. If I want to give it a ranking, it's pretty solid, dude. I wouldn't say that it's perfect. It's got some issues that I don't even care to bring up because they're so minute, but like I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. It's really good. Octopath +1.
Nice. I'm completely down with that. Like, I mean, it's that the battle system feels so good. Like, it is hard to make these games feel good when you're in your random wandering around fighting against mooks and jabroni mobs. But this game, it's like, oh, I want to beat the shit out of this little fucking cactus or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we got one question this week. Mm-hmm. I want to remember to get to it.
Yep.
It comes in from Adam, and it says, what is an obscure fantasy series that you would recommend to someone? And his example given is Dragonlance Chronicles.
Dragonlance isn't fucking obscure. Everyone knows what Drizzt is. This is basically the #1 D&D. You fucking herb. Get wrecked.
Kana's response was ElfQuest.
ElfQuest, on the other hand, I don't know what the fuck it is. So now I do feel like I'm kind of getting leveled.
But man, obscure fantasy.
I don't know if this is even considered obscure per se, but I like the fact that it melds fantasy with cyberpunk elements, is the universe of Shadowrun. Like, it's this weird near-future cyberpunk type thing. There was a dragon as the United States president at one point. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty... Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for this. I don't know what is considered obscure and what kind of fantasy setting are you talking about? Are you talking about medieval fantasy? Or are you talking about fantasy in general? Because if we're talking fantasy in general, then my answer is the Hyperdimension Neptunia series, because that's underrated and everybody needs to check it out. And it's technically fantasy, but...
It's kind of like a cyberpunk fantasy, but, I just gave a cyberpunk fantasy too. So if I had to go back, I would also say, as far as medieval type fantasy goes, I really enjoy this story called The Eye of Argon by Jim Tice. It is a famously badly written book. It's very amateurish, but there's so much heart in it that you kind of want to read it anyway.
I wish I could remember when I was in high school, I read a couple books from a fantasy series that was just like, I found them in the book library at school and they looked cool on the cover and there were dragons and magic and stuff. I just can't remember anything about what they were called. It was
Dragon Riders of Pern.
I was going to say, it wasn't Aragon. I remember all my friends really loved those. I never read those, but
I feel like Aragon was a little after my time.
Probably. But yeah, sorry I don't have a better answer for you, Adam. Read The Witcher.
Oh, read it in the original Polish, then you'll be the coolest dude in class.
Oh man, speaking of, the grumpy one dove into some Witcher 3 and apparently A, hates Geralt's voice and B, hates the way the game plays and controls and decided to say fuck that game, and I say fuck you, my good sir.
Yeah, I'm afraid those are just opinions I don't have to respect. Sorry, dude.
I think what it is I don't think he would vibe very well with Souls games either, and Witcher 3's combat is very like Souls light.
Yeah.
It can be very punishingly difficult at first.
See, yeah. I love that kind of shit. Like, remember when we were playing Elden Ring and I like sent that one text to everyone? It's like, so no matter what I do, this guy kicks my ass. I ripped him all the hair out of my balls and taint because he kicked my ass. I'm having a great time. Like, I meant it. I was having the best time.
All right, sir. My stomach is a bubbling. So let's run through this. What is your pick for our next game?
Well, I know that it's a little strange to go back-to-back RPGs, considering, we kind of shy away from the genre as it is lengthy games, but this is a shorter one. This is Indie Darling by Toby Fox, Undertale.
All right. Always heard about Undertale, never played it.
I feel like you'll get a lot of laughs out of it. The dialogue is very funny.
Yeah, I do know about Sans because of YouTube channels that I watch and stuff. So I do know about that. And I know that, the whole shtick with this game about killing things or not killing things, yada, yada, yada. So it'll be interesting to see what path I decide to take and what path you decide to take.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking I'm going to try to go pacifist as far as I can, but we'll see.
Yeah, so maybe I'll go the other route and we'll compare.
I can't imagine. Dude, after you meet some of these characters, I can't imagine wanting to kill them. They're so charming.
So yeah, dude, that'll be a good time. We'll be back in, you think we can do that in 2 weeks?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about some Undertale, and then after that, I believe it's the poll game. So that'll be some good fun, man. Is there anything you would like to plug before I run through the house cleaning?
Earlier on the show, I talked about Doom 1+2, Legacy of Rust, great mod pack, or great, I guess it is a mod pack technically, but it's built into the game. And a big shout out as well to Junk Food 4, which, that's a fun mod. It's ridiculous, but, we all live by ridiculous these days.
Fair enough, my good sir. All right, everybody. If you would, please go leave us a review over on iTunes and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us out in the algorithm, helps people find the show, because we are terrible at self-promotion. If you would like to join the Discord, that's where all the cool stuff happens. bit.ly/TSMP Discord. Capitalize all those letters. It'll get you a link to the Discord. Come join in on the shenanigans where you can vote on the polls that we have for the audience choices for games. And you can just chat with all the cool people that we've got in there. It's a really cool little community. You want to check out the website, kept up to date by Dane, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically. If you would like to donate to the show, which would mean a heck of a lot to me, it blows my mind that people pay money to hear us talk and just support us, and it's very much appreciated. Patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. If you donate $1 or more a month, you get the episodes early, ad-free, and you get the extra banter in the beginning that is just for the Patreon listeners. If you donate $10 or more, you get all of that, plus your name read on each and every episode, like these wonderful, wonderful people. Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube. Also, he's a duck, and he has bad taste in video games. Ariesoradam, shout out to his podcast, Spectre Approved, that he does with Fenny. Team Retro, go check him out over on YouTube. Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, Flyin Brian, Doran Gray, the RPG Wolverine, Logan Joreid, and the Dankest. You are all very, very, very much appreciated. Shout out to the JRPG Report. Shout out to Grumpy Jeff's Pro Wrestling Power Hour. Pick up a shirt. tsmpproductions.threadless.com. We love you all. We will be back in 2 weeks to talk about some Undertale. Maybe some Overpenis. Who knows? But until then, everybody, take it easy.